With just a few days to go until Jake Paul makes his way back into a boxing ring, facing off against the 17-2 Ryan Bourland. It is a different boxer that has found himself in front of the problem child, with footage of the former Disney star being pulled up on in a car park going viral online. Jake Paul has been quietly going about his business ever since his streak of high-level opponents, seemingly wanting to prove himself and get in more reps against more legitimate boxers. His plan is to work his way to the top, as opposed to using his name to get to the top. His last fight against Andre August ended in victory, and he will be hoping for the same against Ryan Bourland, who he is fighting in his second home of Puerto Rico on the 2nd of March. Despite taking the less profile fights, it hasn't stopped Paul from running his mouth to these fighters, with Indian boxer Neeraj Goyat putting his money where his mouth is and pulling up to Puerto Rico and staring down the problem child face to face. In a clip that has garnered millions of impressions, Goyat steps out of his car, seemingly located at where Jake Paul trains, and makes himself known, shouting, "I'm here, I'm in your country, I'm in your town." Paul dismisses Goyat immediately by claiming he doesn't want to fight, with the Indian boxer returning fire by saying Jake Paul is abusing the Indian language. Paul, in his typical cocky bravado, asks Goyat if he can't handle a little less talk. "Your feelings are hurt." "Did I hurt your feelings?" Paul tells Goyat that he respects him for showing up man to man before the pair come to blows and the verbal confrontation turns physical. The clip has gone viral, and not for the first time with this pair, with Goyat having called Jake Paul out in the past, with his video getting over 25 million views. Jake, clearly aware of the audience Goyat has, mentioned at a DAZN press conference how it could be fun to go over to India and knock him out in his home country. "Maybe one day, but we'll see." With it being the second time that Goyat has put himself on the social media map, it has left a lot of boxing fans wondering, who exactly is Neeraj Goyat? Goyat boasts a record of 18-4. Having made his debut in 2011, and with 2 of those losses coming during his first 2 years of boxing, he has had a pretty successful decade since. Most of his fights have been in or around Asia, with his fights typically taking place in India, Thailand, and China, but he has stemmed out into the Western world of boxing, having fought in Canada and Mexico, with his Mexican fight ending in a loss to the 36-3 Jose Zepeda. Goyat was meant to have his breakout fight, and most mainstream fight, in 2019, where he was scheduled to take on 2-time world champion and Olympic silver medalist Amir Khan in Saudi Arabia. But it wasn't to be, as a car crash ruled Goyat unable to compete. Yet to have his breakout moment. It might be that a potential Jake Paul and Neeraj Goyat fight down the line is finally the fight that he needs to break out into the boxing world. But until then, Jake Paul will have his eyes on his next opponent Ryan Bourland before he makes any decisions about who's next. All statistics in this article are taken from BoxRec.